all fine, but it's not it. Show it is all of me. It's the no regrets. I'm glad I did it, not I wish I had. It's all of those culminating into just those two words. Show it. You know, that expression, actions speak louder than words. This it just it shined the light on how important it is to do the action, to do action, to do better, not be better, do better. The doing, that activity, the action part. Am I making any sense at all? I don't feel like I'm articulating it very well, but boy, do I feel it.
Okay. And where do you feel it?
I'm feeling it in my chest area.
So your doing area, your solar plexus. Is it more heart or more action?
Oh, very much. Is it more heart or more action? I, at this point, I'd have to say heart is very strong in but they're not separate. It's not even mushed together. It's like,
So ask Veritas, is it more heart or more action? Because are you confusing this to make it an easier story for you? I don't know. That's what I was told to ask you.
it's more action.
Hmm. So ask, why were you afraid to say that when you knew it?
Ah, oh, still working on the addiction to approval.
What happens if there was no heart in it and it was all just doing?
Well, that's a really curious question.
Hmm.
I think so much of feeling being the heart, connecting feeling with the heart, and this is a very, very strong feeling. It's an action, but it is in the action area. And I'm not, I'm curious as what to do with that, for that
So
information.
ask.
The question is, why do I have to have a distinction?
So between love and action.
But, but, well, actually, I haven't heart was equaled feeling in my head. But between
Okay.
love and action, there doesn't need to be a distinction between love and action.
Okay. So what happens if you do the action?
There's more love.
So that's where the fear is. Because you know what to do. You know what to begin. You'll learn more of what to do, but you know what to begin. And if you begin, that feeds the love train.
That makes total sense.
So how do you deal with that? How do you address that?
How do I address this recent discovery?
Yeah, the fear and creating more love by doing,
Oh, the fear.
or the resistance, or whatever you choose it to be. Survey
I'm
says
getting a little heated here. Yeah. Well, I'm hearing the action continue. What I'm hearing is continue,
okay.
continue. It's almost I'm taking it in as if it's a permission, but I already
Mhm.
know it.
Well, did you? Knowing and aware of it are two different things.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure this is the house. Oh, they came out of the house. Now I know it's the house.
Okay. But in showing the action, that is showing the love
To whom?
to myself to begin with.
Mm. So is that okay?
When I said it, it was very yes. The answer is a definite yes.
Right.
It's interesting that that became very apparent when I said it out loud.
And who is not wanting the rest of you to hear that? And I say the rest of you, your archetypes, all the other stories, your old stories, your mom's story. What energy wasn't wanting you to hear that?
Hmm. I actually was about to say Megan, but it's not Megan.
Mm-mm.
It's her little buddy.
Ooh.
It's Megan's little buddy who I what is her name? Oh, it's not a her, it's a him. Philip.
And so what is Philip lacking that because he made his presence known?
Yeah, he's been pissed off. He's been behind Megan. Megan's been a little bit of a bully to him,
Okay.
but he had enough. It's like now you've had to sit down, but she didn't tell me to sit down.
So what does Philip need to
He's okay now. I've named I've got his name. He's like, oh, okay, you know, I'm here.
okay. So is he going to still resist you in the actions or help guide you in the actions? Or is he, now that he's recognized and has recognition,
Like it's almost like he's not sure what to do because he's
first
not
time he's
used to
been
being
seen?
recognized.
Right. Ask Veritas and ask why did she keep him a secret?
Hmm. Veritas is telling me he was there the whole time.
Oh,
He
sure,
didn't.
but she didn't say anything. You can't let her off the
When
hook.
you know what this, she said, because you didn't ask
Yeah, but I'm giving you permission. I would encourage you to say, hey, listen, I'm giving you permission to find all of the things that are holding me back and tell me
all of them.
I'm not here on this isn't Easter egg hunting. I'm trying to go find my best version of me. I don't need anybody keeping secrets. It's all fun and games till somebody gets an eye put out.
Yeah.
So yeah, ask her, is there any more? What
Oof,
okay.
we have some work to do, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, we definitely have some work to do.
Then
I
and
haven't
say,
been asking the right questions.
okay. Well, it's remember that you are the knower.
I haven't
You are
been
the
asking enough questions.
Yeah, you are the knower and you are the seeker.
Yes.
And what you're seeking is more knowing.
I'm seeking more knowing, which is the action that brings more love.
And so part of this is this discovery of, hey, no more surprises. And if I don't know the question, ask me something that makes me think of the question. Does that make sense?
It makes it makes a lot of sense.
So now the process is so you simply ask a question. So what should I be asking?
What should I be asking?
All right. I have a question that I usually wrap up or midway through an interview with somebody if I'm interviewing them or they're interviewing me. I'll ask, so based upon our time together, and the answer might be no, but is there a question that you would like me to ask you that most people don't ask? Or is there a question you feel like you want to ask me, but it's not typical protocol? And that kind of swings open the door possibility on both sides. Right? It's like a podcast. So what question did you want to ask me that you had that came up in your brilliant mind that you haven't asked anybody else? What question should I ask that'll get me to my goal quicker, faster, healthier, stronger, and with more love? Right? You can put in all of the qualifying qualities of your questions, of your dialogue.
Oh, that's like a floodgate has opened.
And it looks so joyous from this side.
No, I mean I'm kind of amazed, I'm like, yes, it's
And don't forget, you can send your warrior ahead to say, hey, listen, just clear out all of the questions that I don't need to be engaged with. I'm not here to go learn 1,001 things. This isn't 21 questions. I got I got time, I got space, and I don't want to waste it.
oh that's really good. Okay. That's really good because
And you can do the same with the magician. Listen, go in there and poof all you want
all of
and
them.
throw all of the sprinkling stardust, and then all the ones that are valid questions for me in this moment, they're probably all valid, but maybe they're for the next millennia of my life. I need to know, I want to be able to interact with the questions that I need to awaken in my spirit now.
Right now. Cool.
What'd you learn? What'd you like?
But I learned what I learned is becoming aware of the fact that there's a whole lot more help than I've been willing to ask for. And what I like is that there is a whole lot more help and more help than that there's a becoming aware of each of these and ultimately the power that I have limited them.
Well, was it you?
Well,
It wasn't you,
it was no.
because the you is now the knower.
Yes, the knower didn't.
The knower didn't step up.
Right. But I'm here now.
And now you always have a choice. Stay the knower or stay in the unknown. Meaning you're not gonna be in wonder.
Yes. Wow, this this is unlimited.
Welcome home.
Right? This is it's so awesome to be here. Thank you. Thank you, Sean.
You're welcome. Thank yourself. I'm just
Thank
your
you,
guide.
Louise. Thank you.
So in the blue book, it's discontentment.
So what is on your next page?
Mine says discontentment. After the lesson, a visit with the author.
Okay, I don't have that, so I'm gonna just oh yes, yes. And the title, my title is self-confidence and then discontentment.
Okay.
It says it's lesson 3. Is that correct?
I think so. It would
Oh.
make sense. So I have a picture of looks like a ram, bull, a cow, and something on the fence, and they're doing something in this little
Mine's
black and white
very,
picture.
very dark.
Yeah.
It looks like an ink blot.
Yep. The marker stands at the entrance gate of life and writes, "Poor fool," on the brow of the wise man, and "poor sinner" on the brow of the saint. The supreme mystery of the universe is life. We come here without our consent, from whence we know not. We go away without our consent, whither we know not. We are eternally trying to solve this great riddle of life, and for what purpose and to what end. That we are placed on this earth for a definite reason, there can be no doubt by any thinker. Maybe it not be possible that the power which placed us here will know what to do with us when we pass on beyond the great divide? Would it not be a good plan to give the Creator who placed us here on earth credit for having enough intelligence to know what to do with us after we pass on? Or should we assume any intelligence and the ability, should we assume the intelligence and the ability to control the future life in our own way? May it not be possible that we can, may may it not be possible that we can cooperate with the Creator very intelligently by assuming to control our conduction, assuming to control our conduction, this earth conduction, right? Conduction this earth to the end that we may be decent to one another and do all the good we can in all the ways we can during this life, leaving the hereafter to one who probably knows better than we what's best for us. Let's see. In that 2-3 paragraphs, there is 1, 2, 3, 4 questions that take up about 80% of the conversation. The artist has told a powerful story in the picture at the top of this page. From birth until death, the mind is always reaching out for that which it does not possess. A little child playing with its toy on the floor sees another child with a different sort of toy and immediately tries to lay his hands on that toy. A female child, grown tall, believes the other women's clothes more becoming than her own and sets out to duplicate them. A male child, grown tall, sees another man with a bigger collection of railroads or banks and merchandise and says to himself, how fortunate, how fortunate. How can I separate him from his belongings? F.W. Woolworth, the 5 and 10 store king, stood on Fifth Avenue in New York City and gazed upward at the tall Metropolitan building and said, how wonderful. I will build one much taller. The crowning achievement of his life was measured by the Woolworth building, the building that stands as a temporary symbol of man's nature to excel the handiwork of another man, a monument to the vanity of man, but with little else to justify its existence. The little ragged newsboy on the street stands with wide open mouth and envies the businessman businessman ASHE. What is this, like old English? Envies the businessman Ashe lights from his automobile at the curb and starts into his office. Oh, like Ashe. Oh, like walking?
It's as he alights.
Oh, there it is, as he alights. Yeah, mine, the 2 words are together.
Yeah, I was going to say the print kind of squishes up.
Yes, okay, good. As he alights from his automobile. That's much better. Thank you, Rod. As he alights from his automobile at the curb, he starts into his office. How happy I would be, the newsboy says to himself, if I owned a Lizzie, that's a kind of car. And the businessman seated at his desk thinks how happy he would be if he could add another $1 million to his already over-swollen bankroll. The grass is always sweeter on the other side of the fence, says the jackass, as he stretches his neck in attempt to get it. Turn a crowd of boys into an apple orchard and they will pass by the nice, mellow apples on the ground. The red, juicy ones hanging dangerously high in the top of the tree look much more tempting, and up the tree they will go. A married man takes a sheepish glance at the daintily dressed ladies on the street and thinks how fortunate he would be if his wife were as pretty as they. Perhaps she is much prettier, but he misses that beauty because the grass is always greener on the other side of the fence. Most divorce cases grow out of a man's tendency to climb the fence into another fellow's pastures. Happiness is always just around the bend, always in sight, but just out of reach. Life is never complete, no matter what we have or how much of it we possess. One thing calls for something else to go with it. Madeline buys a pretty hat. She must have a gown to match it. That calls for new shoes and hose and gloves and other accessories that run into a big bill far beyond her husband's means. Man longs for a home, just a plain little house setting off on the edge of the woods. He builds it, but it is not complete. He must have shrubbery and flowers and landscaping to go with it. It's still not complete. He must have a beautiful fence around it with a graveled driveway. That calls for a motor car and a garage with which to house it. All these little touches have been added, but to no avail. The place is now too small, and he must have a house with more rooms. The Ford Coupe must be replaced by the Cadillac sedan, and so there will be room for company in the cross-country tours. And on goes the story ad infinitum. The young man receives a salary sufficient to keep him and his family fairly comfortable. Then comes the promotion and the advance in the salary of $1,000 a year. Does he lay the extra $1,000 away in the savings account and continue living as before? He does nothing of the sort. Immediately, he must trade the old car in for a new one. A porch must be added to the house. The wife needs a new wardrobe. The table must be set with better food and more of it. Pity his poor, groaning stomach. At the end of the year, he is better off. Is he better off with the increase? He is nothing of the sort. The more he gets, the more he wants. The rule applies to men and millions, with millions the same as to the man with but a few thousands. The young man selects a girl of his choice, believing he cannot live without her. After he gets her, he is not sure that he could live with her. If a man remains a bachelor, he wonders why he is so stupid to deprive himself of the joys of a married life. If he marries, he wonders how she happened to catch him off guard long enough to harpoon him. And the God of deity cries, "O fool, O fool. You are damned if you do and damned if you don't." At every crossroad of life, the imps of discontentment stand in the shadows of the background, with a grin of mockery on their faces, crying out, "Take the road of your own choice. We will get you in the end." The last man becomes disillusioned and begins to learn that happiness and contentment are not of this world. Then begins the search for the password that will open the door to him in some world of which he knows not. Surely there must be happiness on the other side of the great divide. In desperation, he's tired, careworn. In desperation, his tired, careworn heart turns to religion for hope of encouragement. But his troubles are not over yet. They're just starting. "Come over to our tent and accept our creed," says one sect, "and you may go straight to heaven after death." Poor man hesitates, looks, and listens. Then he hears the call of another brand of religion whose leader says, "Stay out of the other camp or you'll go straight to hell. They are only sprinkling water on your head, but we push you all the way under, thereby ensuring you safe passage to the land of promise." In the midst of sectarian claims and counterclaims, poor man becomes undecided. Not knowing whether to turn this way or that, he wonders which brand of religion offers the safest passage until hope vanishes. Myself, when young, did eagerly frequent doctor and saint and heard great argument about it and about, but evermore came out of the same door where I went.
Oh,
Always seeking but never finding. Thus might be described man's struggle for happiness and contentment. His mind becomes an external question mark. His mind becomes an internal question mark, searching hither and yon for an answer to the question, whence and whither. The worldly hope man set their hearts upon turns ashes or it prospers to anon. To an on. Like snow upon the desert's dusty face, lighting a little hour or two is gone. Life is an everlasting question mark. That which we want most is always in the embryonic distance of the future. Our power to acquire is always a decade or so behind our power to desire. Our power to acquire is always a decade or so behind our power to desire. And if we catch up with the thing that we want, we no longer want it. Fortune is the young woman who learns this great truth and keeps her lover always guessing, always on the defensive, lest he may lose her. Our favorite author is a hero and a genius until we meet him in person and learn the sad truth that, after all, he is only man. How often must we learn this lesson? Men cease to interest us when we find their limitations. The only sin is limitation. As soon as you once come up with a man's limitations, it is all over with him. Emerson said that. How beautiful the mountain yonder in the distance, but the moment we draw near, we find it to be nothing but a wretched collection of rocks and dirt and trees. Out of the truth, the oft repeated adage, familiarity breeds contempt. Beauty and happiness and contentment are states of mind, states of mind, states of mind. They can never be enjoyed except through the vision of the afar. The most beautiful painting of Rembrandt becomes a mere smudge of dabbed paint if we come too near to it. Destroy the hope of unfinished dreams in a man's heart, and he is finished. The moment a man ceases to cherish the vision of future achievement, he is through. The moment man or woman ceases to cherish the vision of a future achievement, he is through. Nature has built man so that his greatest and only lasting happiness is that which he feels in the pursuit of something yet unobtained, in pursuit of some yet unattained object. Anticipation is sweeter than realization. That which is at hand does not satisfy. The only enduring satisfaction is that which comes to a person who keeps alive in his heart the hope of future achievement. The words were a little squished there too. When that hope dies, write fini across the human heart. Life's greatest inconsistency is the fact that most of that which we believe is not true. Russell Conwell wrote the most popular lecture ever delivered in English language, and he called it Acres of Diamonds. The central idea of the lecture was the statement that one needed not seek opportunity in the distance. Opportunity may be found in the vicinity of one's birth. Perhaps, but how many believe it? Opportunity may be found wherever one really looks for it, and nowhere else. To most men, the picking looks better on the other side of the fence. How futile to urge one to try out one's luck in the little hometown when it's a man's nature to look for opportunity in some other locality. Do not worry because the grass looks sweeter on the other side of the fence. Nature intended it so. Thus does she allure us and groom us for the lifelong task of growth through struggle. Oof. That's pretty big. Questions, thoughts, comments?
It was a lot in there.
Yeah. There was a lot. That was packed.
It was a lot. But to be a decade behind the things, like we don't acquire it, a decade behind the things that we desire. That is, by the time we get it, it's like it's right there. Like I don't even want that anymore.
So why do you think that is, Roz? What if that's true, and it is, and what we're doing with decision of self is literally ripping that to shreds and becoming in the present? Why do you think most people are wired for the decade of delay?
I would like to think it's because we're always looking for more, but it's I don't know. In my case, I'm feeling like it is not getting there, not doing the work to get there
But where is
sooner.
there?
That brings me to the other thing. Am I not just satisfied to do what it is I need to do right in the present, right where I am, and not looking to do something somewhere else or thinking it should be bigger or better someplace else or
So you're getting close. You're circling it. Keep going. Keep talking. We keep talking about someplace else, but it's better someplace else. What I
sleep.
what I hear you saying, which I don't believe to be true, it's because it's the words that come out and the frequency of thought is that just settle here. I want that. But when I get there, I won't want that. I want that. Well, where is there? Isn't there here? When you get there, won't you be here? What room are you in right now?
The dining room.
Okay, so if you went to the kitchen is over there, right?
Yes.
But when you get to the kitchen, won't you be here?
Yes.
So can you ever go anywhere and not be here?
No, because where you are is here.
So the reason that when you get there, you don't want it anymore is because you didn't want it here. Because if you wanted that, isn't it here now? That's called gratitude. That's called visualization. That's called your DMP. You have to already have it. That's why it delays a decade.
Not thinking you have to be somewhere else to get it. Like you can have it wherever you are.
I want you to think of your grandkids. Do you feel a shift in your energy?
Definitely.
Are they there?
Yes. Well, not all of them, but you
But
still feel the shift.
are they there next to you?
Oh, yeah.
Like right now, they're next to you?
Oh, no.
That's my point. But they're here, aren't they?
Yes.
So doesn't matter where they are, they're here in your heart. Right? Now they can show up. It doesn't make the here any better. You just get to focus more on them because now they take up physical space. But they had to be here before they got here.
So true.
So what if you named one of your dreams a sibling of one of your grandkids? And you just loved it as much as you love them, whether they're in the room sleeping, they go somewhere else, they go here, that, or the other, they're here, they go to school, they don't go to school, they're always with you. And the reason most people, when they get a decade later to their desire, they're like, this isn't what I wanted. And the universe goes, well, it took me 10 years to try to figure out something. You didn't ask for, I gave you what I thought you might want. Right? If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And if you don't make a plan, don't be surprised what they have for you. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. Yes.
Right? Yeah, it's a lot because it kept beating us around the head, neck, and chest area going, nothing can be there. It's always here. Because when you wind up there, you'll be here. And if you didn't want, if you get there and don't want it, it's because you didn't want it here. Because that's, you'll always be here. That's why I ask when I hear about arguments, could you laugh in 6 months? Yeah, probably. Then I'd start now. There's no good that comes from you waiting on your joy. Nothing. Not one thing can add, can compress time. Sadness doesn't compress time. Sadness doesn't bring it faster. Law of attraction says, think about, I bring about. And if you're doing it, the universe thinks you're thinking about it. Not a Southern thinking thank. This is your THANK. You are thankful for this because you're spending so much time on it. You got it. That's what you must want. So I'll give it to you, right? How long does the universe wait till it starts acting on a thought? Anybody know?
No.
15 seconds. What? Same thing with aromatherapy. Anything you smell, 15 seconds, it's in your bloodstream. 15 seconds. That's why you can have an upward spiral too.
See,
What'd you learn? What'd you like?
well, I love, I learned and I like the fact that I'm just when you said that, like the whole when you read that about the being a decade behind, and now you explaining that, like you giving that to me is it's like an eye open, like my mind like blown.
So, how old are the grandbabies?
They are 3 through 11.
Okay, so the 3-year-old's still a teacher. The 11-year-old has already crossed over. Brain's not formed, all of that stuff. But the 3-year-old, everything is now.
Right.
Now, the 11-year-old, it's now because it's a identity thing, right? But the 3-year-old, they don't understand the concept of time. We'll get it soon. I want it now. And we tell little lies. Okay, I'll get it for you when we get home. Well, they already have it. They're just now waiting on, just like the universe, they're waiting on the tree to plant and grow and produce fruit. And they do it at an exponential rate of time because we don't operate on their time. Is it time yet? We just got in the car. We haven't even started heading home. But you said I could get it when we get home. Now I feel like I'm at home in the car. Right?
Yes, everything is now.
And love it. And love it. Say thank you for teaching me. And what you'll hear is what I just heard is that when you say to the 3-year-old, thank you for teaching me, you will hear a voice, you will hear something, you will see a memory that is so clear of you being a good student. And there'll be a shift in your relationship with that 3-year-old because you'll be talking to one of their archetypes. Thanks for being a teacher. The archetype will go, oh my God, do they see me? Yeah, the movie I just saw running in my head was pretty freaking cool.
I love that.
Yep. Very cool. I love it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Any last questions before I let you go? Dun, dun, dun.
That was quite a vision that uh, you and Ross were just talking about. I'm like, oh my gosh. Thanking the other person
3-year-old. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if they came to this world from no place, from whence and whither,
Yeah.
they have access to the Akashic records and they're using it in the way that a 3-year-old uses it. And what does God say? Childlike wonder.
Yeah.
And we try everything to do because we have lost the wonder. The thing that, especially this time of year, there's the Polar Express. And if you've ever seen that, and at the end of the movie, oh, there's a box underneath the tree. And it was the bell that fell off one of the reindeer, right? And he said, my mom and dad didn't hear the bell. And Sally stopped hearing the bell 2 Christmases later or something like that. And I still hear the bell. I wonder if other people still hear the bell. Can you still hear the bell?
That I've not seen that movie, but um I'm going to have to look at it up now. It's as if there's a certain point. I don't know that it's necessarily a timeline, but children can see things so clearly. Little children can see things so clearly. They don't necessarily have the vocabulary to express it. However, you talking about vibrations and energies and that sort of thing, there there's so much stuff that since I've known you has it's like cement is breaking off of me. I've been putting all of this clay on, and there's the golden Buddha is starting to. I can see some things through the cracks, but it's just this hiding that was put on. Well, the legend, and it's from Thailand. The legend is one of I heard about it when I was growing up, but the idea is that all these shoulda, woulda, coulda, who told you you needed to do that or need to fit in, or all of these things that are not of us, of me, I've put them on and put them on and put them on, and it's just taken these questions, and I feel like the crack. I mean, I actually can see I can see it through. And I'm not putting any more cement on by saying about time because that's just more cement or plaster or
But it's an
whatever.
awareness. It's an awareness that that's a doing that reveals the love.
Cool. Cool. I love that picture of Roz and her 3-year-old grandchild just with the archetype talking to the child's archetype.
Because
Awesome.
like we have a prince and princess, they have full grown archetypes too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of cool when you bring in the archetypes. I did that with Daniela a couple of times, brought in Teo's and Marcello's
Oh my
archetypes.
gosh.
Yeah. And she just had a unbelievable dialogue, brought in Kevin's. It took a lot of energy. It was cool.
Very cool.
Love it.
It's all
I need
very
to work on my
Thank you so much,
archetypes.
Sean.
I'm telling you, they're one of that is the nuclear response when you get in harmony with your archetypes. That is the nuclear response to anything limiting.
Wow.
Doesn't have to be threatened, doesn't have to be dropped. It's just knowing that I got the launch code. And if your archetypes are dominantly right, if they follow your nature and you're male or female, access the other side. So your Veritas is this beautiful queen. Who's the king? Cool stuff. Okay.
Yes, there has to be time for that. I need to take the time. I I I was Huh, interesting. I never considered that. For Veritas, especially.
Right. But Veritas is kind of she's the head honcho.
Yeah.
So when the king comes in, the king is just there to support and do, but it serves us well to shift the vibration of the response. It's a kind of cool experience. When I use my queen I use my queen a lot, probably more than I should, but works for me. Keeps me from wanting to plunder and pillage all of the kingdoms around me. So there you go. All right, my queens. I hope you have an amazing evening. I'll see y'all where?
At the
At the
next
next
event.
event.
I love it, love it, love it.
Thank
Y'all
you
get
so
some
much
rest
for
tonight.
this, Sean. Thank
You
you.
bet.
Yes.
And thank you, Roz. It's so fun to be with you.
I miss being on. I'm like, I have to get back. It's been some crazy days.
Well, so wonderful. Blessed that you were here.
Thank you, Louise. It was good being here. I missed you guys.
We'll
Good
see you
deal.
all in the morning.
All right, Sean. Love you.
All right.
Thank